Hello YouTube, Professor Kadra here. Welcome to Tobacco 308 Oriental Blends. Oriental Blends place one of pipe smoking's oldest and most distinctive tobaccos at center stage. Unlike English or Balkan mixtures, where Oriental leaf shares some of the spotlight, the Oriental blends are designed to showcase the Oriental tobacco. Today's representative mixture is Honor Blend. As you can see, it's a crumble cake. Start off with the smell. Floral to me.
Yeah.
Perfumey.
There is like a, but there's like a sweet, like almost like grape or some sort of this. Maybe it's the floral or perfumey. There's something. It's good.
Yeah, okay, more
Almost like a
in
dessert
like a
wine.
green grape, or like
Yeah.
a light grape.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dessert wine, sure. Yeah. All right. Let's pack our bowls of this. I'll break myself off a chunk. There you go.
Now I know we did this packing these, but does anyone ever just take a plug and just stick it right in? I'm not going to, but
Of a crumble cake?
Yeah.
Yeah, that is one of the methods of packing a crumble cake.
I feel like
like
for
to rub it out.
airflow, it's probably better to leave a little, to rub it out a little.
Yeah, I like to rub it out. This rubs out to a nice ribbon.
It really does. Oh man, it's like perfect.
Yeah. So Honor Blend is an excellent example of how Oriental tobaccos can take the lead while remaining balanced by supporting leaf. This uses Red Virginia, Cavendish, Turkish as the main component, and Perique.
Well, aren't there like two, like was there Izmir and something else, or like the two main Turkish Orientals? I've been just coming across, not trying to read about it, but always interested about the actual varietals.
You know, I wish I was better versed in it. Perhaps some 400 level courses could cover like the really specific types of leaf. You know, like where we just talked about Orientals, right, as a type of leaf versus really getting into it, the Izmir, the Catarini.
I'm also interested in the history too, you know, because I know a lot of like the tobacco smoking history. I think we talked about this maybe in the other video that got deleted, but I was saying how, like, you know, a lot of times we talk about like the Americas. We came here, you know, saw the Native Americans smoking pipes, which included tobacco a lot, as well as other things. And then that kind of brought that back to Europe, and that sort of became pipe smoking, the way we think of it. But I'd imagine a lot of these Oriental, Turkish, Greek, you know, Syria, these other, they have their own histories. And a lot of times I feel like we kind of maybe gloss over, but I'm curious, like, what were they smoking in their pipes and how, you know?
Sure.
I'm going to use this. That one was burning my hand with the wind.
Yeah, no problem. Interesting. As we work through today's seminar, we're going to use Honor Blend, identify the aromas and flavors that make Oriental blends so distinctive. Oriental blends, built around Oriental tobaccos as their defining feature. Although recipes vary, they often include Oriental tobaccos, Virginia, small amounts of Latakia or supporting leaf. This particular one does not have any Latakia.
Which is good for me because that's all I would probably taste. So I mentioned I just had the Bijou, which is Virginia, and Catarini, a Greek Oriental. And I feel like that helped me understand the flavor profile of the Oriental tobaccos a little bit better. And now I'm definitely tasting them right away.
Yeah, driving the bus on this for sure.
Yeah, they're interesting. They're almost like...
The Virginia Perique is in there subtly. But like it's under everything else.
Yeah, I get a little Perique on the nose. Definitely subtle. The Orientals are definitely the main flavor profile. And I think I'm trying to get a sense of, you know, of what it reminds me of. There's like a dryness, but like a sourness that almost reminds me of like something like wasabi or something, or like horseradish. Like,
Yeah, no, wasabi is a.
you know what I mean?
It's not nearly as spicy, so like you kind of want to stay away from it, but it does have that the dryness
Yeah, there's
that
like a,
that
and the almost like pungent or sour, like off. It's not sour in the tangy way that Perique and Virginias can be a little bit sour, like in that acidic way. It's different.
it's like a musty kind of sour. If we're talking about the
Yeah,
same thing.
we are. I agree with that. Yeah, but I get an almost like a horseradishy type of wasabi thing on the nose on the retro hill.
Oh yeah.
You know what I
Oh
mean?
yeah. Very much.
Yeah, that's what makes me intrigued about like the history of these tobaccos.
Mm-hmm.
Like, did they produce them for European pipe smokers and American pipe smokers, or were they? I mean, they must have their own. I know they, some of these places they
Their
smoked
own
hookah.
traditions.
They had.
Yeah.
I read something that mentioned these like little clay pipes that they would smoke a small amount. And not sure if they inhaled it or not.
Yeah. Very interesting. The history of smoking.
Yeah, well, I guess it's like a lot of things. You know, we live in America. We learn a lot of things through the lens of American history, European history as well. But a lot of things in the world, pastimes like pipe smoking and other things, they had sort of parallel, just like music. Like I learned, I'm a musician. We learn about music a lot of times in an academic, like through Western music. But meanwhile, you had other cultures
Yeah.
doing their own parallel things, and music was evolving there. So I'm sure they were had their own tobacco culture in a lot of these other countries, and how it was. I'm not sure even what countries had it indigenously. You know?
Mm-hmm. Obviously, something was going on with the Oriental tobaccos for them to have been their own,
Their own thing, yeah,
type
for
of thing.
sure.
Yeah.
Well, I remember we watched I watched a video. We talked about it once. I watched a video on a different pipe smoking YouTube channel. They were talking about the history of Latakia, and I
Mm-hmm.
think it said it's something about how it kind of came from like a sort of accidental situation where they left, I don't know, left all this tobacco hanging out to dry, but they had all these fires. The village burned down or something, and the tobacco was up there, not getting burned down, but it was all smoked. And they were like, "Well, let's keep it, and let's use it." And then it became a thing, you know.
Right. So for that to have happened, they were using it for something else.
Mm-hmm.
So Oriental tobaccos are grown in the Eastern Mediterranean, particularly the regions of modern-day Turkey and Greece. They're small leaf tobaccos, naturally aromatic, often contribute floral notes. I got that right away on
Yep.
the tin note. Herbal character, dry wood, some earthiness, mild spice. Definitely some spice on that retrohale for sure. It's really quite pronounced. I don't know if I'd call it mild. Uh,
It's not mild, but it's not like heart like peppery, like spicy, like
but no, it's that kind of sinusy clearing
yep,
sensation that you get from like a horseradish or wasabi, like you were
definitely.
saying.
And I definitely, as someone who smokes a lot of Virginias, I'll notice when one thing I'll notice when there's some burley or something else in there is I get that cooler smoke, you know. And this, it might not be it's that similar to burley, but it's definitely probably less sugary than a Virginia. It definitely has some of that
It is.
cooler, drier. It smokes cooler and
Yeah.
drier.
Yeah. Yeah, it is less sugary than a Virginia, and it is smoking that way. So as you smoke on our blend, or any Oriental blend, pay attention to the subtle aromas. You might notice dry, woody flavors, herbal complexity, gentle spice, floral notes, fragrant aroma that lingers on the palate.
I would say for someone interested in finding out what Orientals taste like, this one is a good blend because you really taste the Orientals. I mean, I barely notice the Virginia and Perique unless I'm looking for it.
It's a pretty good endorsement because you're more or less actively going through that.
Yeah, I had a couple of blends that had some Orientals in them, and if usually what I taste is Virginia and Perique, and it's almost like then there's something else adulterating my vapor. But in this case, that's not the case at all. It's almost like the Virginia and the Perique are lightly condimental, and this is a
yeah. And the flavors dance in and out. I just got a kind of dry woody note that I hadn't really been getting much of. It was much more in the floral area for me, for the most part. Grape.
I like using my imagination a little bit here. Like I can see how, when you smoke like an English blend, that might be basically these components plus Latakia. Mm-hmm. Now I can sort of smoke this and imagine, all right, what would Latakia taste like in this? And I can totally picture why they would use this kind of blend as a base for, an English blend. It's like You said this had Cavendish in it as well?
Yes.
Mild Cavendish, it says. All right.
We haven't talked much about cadence here with this because it's not so much a Virginia focus thing where cadence is a factor.
Right.
But Oriental blends will often reward a slower smoking cadence, allowing the complexity to unfold throughout the bowl.
I guess that's the case with like blends that have complex flavors in general, right? Like you're going to pick up more nuance.
I think that's going to be the case for, like a lot of blends, particularly when they involve some of the multiple components.
Yeah. It is true that like the heat definitely sort of overshadows some of the nuance and flavor.
Oriental blends are well suited for people who like a nuanced, natural tobacco smoke. Appreciate complexity over strength. Someone who likes an English or a Balkan blend but wants less emphasis on the Latakia, or even none. People who enjoy taking their time with a contemplative smoke. May not be the boldest blends out there, but they are pretty refined.
Yeah, and they're definitely, maybe if bold isn't the descriptive word you'd use, they definitely taste like something. They definitely taste like, Oriental tobacco. Like there's definitely a flavor profile,
Yeah, it's a distinct one.
One thing I'm noticing is, not to say that this isn't nuanced, but like it's interesting. There's several different types of tobacco in here. I guess we said Virginia, Cavendish, Perique, and Orientals, which might be even more than one type of Oriental. But it kind of, despite the nuances in the flavor, it tastes like more or less one flavor profile to me for the most part. But then you can have something like a certain Virginia tobacco where you might taste 5 or 6 different flavors in what is essentially one leaf, or at least one leaf type. You know what I mean? So you could have, a blend that's 5 or 6 leaves and it still kind of has one overall flavor. And you could have a blend that's more or less one leaf and it has this evolving character.
I think part of that is the crumble cake presentation. It's all pressed together. This is from April 2018, so it's a little over 8 years old. It's also had some time to really develop that singular kind of profile.
Yeah, I'm trying to think about. I've been thinking a lot lately about like the differences of the different cuts of tobacco, whether you get a flake or a plug. I mean, to me, it seems like this is basically like a lot like a ribbon, and a plug's a lot like a flake, which makes. I mean, flakes and ribbons feel different to me. The same tobacco, they smoke differently. But just kind of thinking about the pros and cons, like, well, if you got the same thing in a ribbon cut, which it might not even exist in, but would it be that different? Because it shakes out to like a ribbon cut. But I mean, do you get does it keep better?
Right.
Does it mingle more? You know.
Yeah. I mean, I guess when pressing is part of the process, and then you cut it into your servings, it doesn't make much sense to rub it out. You might
Right.
as well just package it
Yep.
that way. This is probably something to do with efficiency of the
Yep.
production process as well.
I know it's by weight, but it always feels like you're somehow getting a little bit more just because it's all dense and put together.
Right.
But
Right.
it's weight.
Yeah. Yep.
I keep going back and forth. I smoke a lot of flakes, and I'm like, oh, I like how they're dense, and I can fold and stuff them. And then when I get a nice like ribbon cut, every once in a while, I'm like, ooh, this is nice and pillowy, and I tamp it down. I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
this is nice and very even. It's like a Burger King hamburger versus like something when you make yourself. It's very processed and soft, but somehow really good still.
Yeah.
you know.
Till next time, thanks for watching.